Join us today for an unboxing video of the latest and greatest from Dwarven Forge and their Reliquaries Kickstarter campaign. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to those of you who've been with us before, and to those of you new folks who found your way here, welcome as well, obviously. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing video. We've done a few of these now. This is from a Kickstarter campaign from Dwarven Forge. These are their dice reliquaries, and I'll kind of explain as we go what the Kickstarter, what the campaign is meant to be, and how these things interact with other Dwarven Forge items. So, here we go. I did go ahead and open the packaging box, so we got the delay, but I haven't gotten into the contents yet. So, let's see here. Let's start with the Dwarven Trio. So, like all Dwarven Forge stuff, the box tells you what's in it. For those of you who've never ordered anything from them before. And there should be a little thing denoting painted versus unpainted and things like that. Like right here, that's what the P right there stands for on this. It's for painted. Because I'm definitely not going to order any of this stuff unpainted because I'm not that skilled at painting. Nor do I have the time. I have about 100 BattleTech battle mechs I have to paint up. Actually, I'm lying to myself. It's probably more like 200 or 300. But anyway, so this campaign, these were meant to be dice holders. Okay, and like I said, this is part of the Dwarven set. This is one of the pieces here, meant to look like a griffin, I believe, eagle or something. And then where the hole is, here's where the dice are supposed to sit. But this, you see the ram's head. Now, these should be spaced properly to be used as columns in Dwarven Forge builds. So that's that's part of the appeal, is that these things are set up to also be used in your builds if you want to. And then you've got your holders here for your various sizes of dice, because different dice are going to require different size. That's probably to hold the D20 if I had to guess. With a D4, probably the D6.
That's probably the D6.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, so you got those little plugs. And then this is the trio pledge. So there's each terrain type, for lack of a better word, had, I believe, 3 pieces. And this one has the giant, this is the hero piece, the Dwarven Hammerer. Now, I did not buy these to mount dice on them to display. I bought these to use in my D&D campaign at some point or another. And then this, I believe, is to, this is to charge these. Although I'm going to be totally honest, I don't remember what it does. I think it lights up. Yeah, there we go. So then, just, imagine your die sitting there with the light coming up through it, especially if it's a translucent die. So, but yeah, so you got that. And then there's a little switch here on the bottom, like all their other LED stuff. There's a slot there in the center where this will go in and make contact, USB cord. That's how you charge it. You'll note this is unpainted. That was something they mentioned in the Kickstarter campaign. I don't remember the logic behind it. I don't plan on painting it, so it's going to remain unpainted for mine anyway. And then these all also, like their more recent pieces, all have magnets in them. So they will stick to the terrain trays that they have, because the terrain trays have a felt-like material on top that has a design in them. Like, you know, like an acid river or a lava river or something like that. But there's a metal plate inside of it, so the magnetic pieces will stick to it. So you can take whole chunks of dungeon and move them around. So let's see what other goodies we have, because we have a lot. I went into this thinking I was going to buy like 2 or 3 pieces. You can see how that turned out. That's how it usually goes when I buy their stuff. Let's see. Save those for last. Okay, this is the Elven Hero Pledge. So this would be this kind of piece, but for the Elven set. And honestly, I started the campaign thinking this was the one I was going to buy, because their last Kickstarter had a set of ruins that have a very similar paint scheme. Although once I was able to see these at Gen Con, I kind of realized that, yeah, it's similar, but it's not quite the same. And so I started looking at some of the others. And so, yeah, you can see the intricacies back here on the scroll work and stuff. And then, like the other one, only this one changes colors sporadically, apparently. So, if you want your disco fever. But this, like this, I bought this to use as a piece for a campaign. This will end up being some kind of MacGuffin or magic artifact or something in a long lost tomb of who's a what's it in the middle of somewhere. So, yeah. And then, like the other one, it's got its charger and cord here. We don't need to have multiples of those floating around. Okay. So this, there's no point in opening this. This is just another one of these, because I wanted more than one of them so I could actually use them as pillars. Let's see, a Reliquary Toppers pack. These are things to put in place of the dice. Alright, so you got a few options here. You got your flames. Probably not the greatest idea to hit that with a hammer. Probably look better here. Except it's not going to go in there because that's too narrow. Well, in theory that would have looked good there.
Or on the pillar.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not using the pillar as a pillar, that would probably look good. Then we have a bird on top of a ball. We also have some manacles. I'm not entirely certain how these are supposed to go in. Because I don't see there's a peg, but I don't see where it's supposed to plug in. There's no magnet in there. Well, I'll figure it out eventually. But anyway, there's the manacle and the peg.
Found the manacle goes.
Oh, there you go. My compatriot Chad here has shown me the way. Take the bird out, put the manacle in, and there you go. You ready to reenact the arena scene in Attack of the Clones? That may be the only time you hear me make an Attack of the Clones reference. Don't shake your head. That's the one of the prequels I liked the least. Still better than the sequels, though. By a long shot. By a complete Holdo maneuver, you could say. But I hope you don't, because that's also terrible. Everything about that movie is terrible.
It had some beautiful visuals.
So did Avatar. So these are just plugs to just level them out if you want to.
Ah, and there's a hole for pegs from the Raven and manacles.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, these feel pretty tight actually. So I'd be careful jamming those down in there. Yeah. So definitely make sure you know what you're doing before you plug one of those in. No pun intended, I guess.
Don't let them fool you, folks. It was intentional.
Well, I'm trying to decide if that was actually a pun or not. It's more the question. The saying was intentional. I just don't know if that constitutes a pun. I don't think it does. All right. So now let's go with the Artificer Trio Pledge. This was one of the two that as the campaign was progressing, and I really got to see some pictures of it, is what sold me on this one. So like I said, this is supposed to be Artificer related, so this has more of a mechanical look to it. Yeah. So check that out.
Yeah, it looks like it could go right into Warhammer 40k.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it could. Just make sure the tech priests don't find it.
It's probably some tech priest creation. You know, once they're allowed to invent again.
When's that going to be? When it becomes Warhammer 50k? So as I've said a couple times now, I bought these to use in a D&D campaign, and I'm thinking something like this is going to be like some kind of magic power generator essentially, with the crystals there and some cabling, and might go for a Return to the Barrier Peaks kind of deal where you find the crashed alien ship, or might just be, you know, a bunch of biomechanical stuff. And then the big piece.
Even has a ladder in the back.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know if you can see it there, the light there on the inside shifting colors that goes to the die. So, yep. And like the others, it's got the charger and the cap pieces. And I apparently felt the desire to buy a second one of these. So that's what one of the other boxes is, so we don't need to open it up. And now, this is from one of the other sets. There were 2 other sets. One, this was a Dwarven set, the Elven set, the Artificer set. There was an Elemental set, which I didn't buy any of. And then there was this set, which is the Eldritch set. So this is one of the pedestal type pieces.
We're going to the far realm in the future, aren't we?
Why go to the far realm, Chad, when the far realm can come to you?
It already has. There's mind flayers and beholders. And aboleths.
So watch out for those planar breaches.
We already sealed one.
Here's the hero piece for the Eldritch set. That's bizarre corruption going on all over the place on there.
You could say somewhat chaotic.
Yeah. So, there you have it, folks.
Infused.
As I mentioned, there is the one other set, the Elemental set. And then there was also a set of just pillars that came with a metal 6-sided die. Those do also look awesome. I believe that Dwarven Forge hopes to have these on their site by the end of the year. Because they're hoping to get them out the door quickly. Once they make sure that all the orders have shipped, then they'll put what's left of the initial order up on their site. And as with their other Kickstarter campaigns, if you didn't get it during the Kickstarter and you really want it, make sure you get it when it goes up on the site the first time, because that's the leftover from the Kickstarter campaign. Some of these things might not be made a second time. There's no guarantee they will be. And I don't know how Dwarven Forge considers the performance on this one. I think a lot of people really missed out and are kind of kicking themselves once they finally saw the prototypes, like the real deals. They had them at Gen Con. If you look in our Gen Con video, touring the booth, I believe it's the final thing shown in the video, or near the end of it anyway. But yeah, so I think some people definitely kicked themselves, as with all their campaigns, because I love their stuff, but the biggest problem is until you have it in your hands, it's really hard to tell, oh, I can do this with that thing. I should have bought 10 of those. You know, versus seeing pictures and seeing them do things like, oh, that's cool. I need 2 or 3 of those.
Right.
You know,
You mean like the fact that the Artificer stuff could be used for Warhammer 40k real easily, seeing it in person?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's Warhammer players that, like, if they would have seen this,
And the Eldritch ones too,
you know, would have jumped on it. This could be chaos stuff.
Yeah. Chaos, corruption.
Yeah, and this could be old timey Warhammer. There's Dwarven factions there, right?
Space Dwarfs have been reintroduced in 40k as well.
Weren't they also instantly nerfed?
Yeah.
But still, they're there now. That's the point.
And then there's your Space Elves.
Yeah.
And then, like, everything else.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, this definitely has Warhammer 40k potential. I'm not seeing BattleTech potential here, unfortunately, but you know,
No.
not everything works for BattleTech. So,
I
but yeah,
mean, the flame toppers might.
yeah. I mean,
Random fires that are
yeah.
cropping up in the middle of a battle.
There's lots of random fires in the BattleTech universe. But yeah, so yeah, these, like I said, these things, to me, these things look excellent. Like as soon as I saw them at Gen Con, I was like, I made a worthy decision backing this. You know, I'm glad I did. Had the opportunity to get a little bit more stuff, so I went for it. And yeah, I'm glad I did. This stuff will definitely wind up in my campaign at some point or another. Maybe not all of it in this particular campaign, but you know, we'll see. Just depends on the players and where they go and how badly I railroad them. Because, you know, I spend money on this stuff and I want to use it. So sometimes that's going to happen.
Spoiler alert, we're planning to go to Waterdeep.
So anyway, you folks should definitely check it out. In other Dwarven Forge news, because I'm going to go ahead and use this video to just throw this out there because they mentioned this on their live stream last week. Their next Kickstarter has been broken up into 2 Kickstarters. It was supposed to be Return to Cities, and now they're going to do Low Town and High Town. So like the shanties and like down by the sea and the docks and all that. Low Town. That one's coming first. I believe January.
So, low town as in the slums.
Yeah, the slums down by the docks, you know, where things go bump in the night.
Oh, where you'll get shanked for your last copper piece.
Yeah, and like I said, I believe that's January. I tuned in kind of late, so I didn't catch the date, but the folks on the site say January. It's going to be a little bit smaller campaign, not going to run quite as long, but I believe it's going to have some of the really cool stuff they've been showing off. They showed off the beginnings of a scaffolding system for their buildings that looks really great. That I don't have a lot of their building stuff, but seeing this upcoming Kickstarter has got me really interested in it because I mainly have their subterranean dungeon stuff. After that will be the sci-fi Kickstarter. That's going to be sometime, I think they said, in the summer. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what they said. It's also going to be on the smaller side. It's not going to try to be all things to all people. They're going to pick a motif, and I believe the current front runner is like futuristic industrial. So like think like Aliens,
Warhammer 40k.
Warhammer 40k. You know, lots of pipes. Not any steam. You got to buy the fogger thing for that. But you buy the fogger, you can make all the steam you want. But you know, lots of pipes, lots of scaffolding, stuff like that is what it sounds like.
Bare metal.
And it's probably gonna be more
harsh edges.
And it's probably gonna be a little bit more basic. You know, like your basic pieces with a little bit of the bling. And then depending on how that does, they're gonna see about expanding from there. Because they did sci-fi and resin, didn't do overly great. I wish I would have bought it because I think it looks great. I didn't find out about it until after it was gone. Because their old resin stuff has a very, like Star Trek, the original series feel to it. You know, like big computers and, you know, kind of shiny metal walls and catwalks and stuff. Like 50s, 60s retro sci-fi. Personally, I love that look, but that's just me. But anyway, then Hightown will be probably January of 2024. And they mentioned something else in there. I think they're doing a miniatures thing at some point. So they might actually have 4 Kickstarters on the horizon, like that they've already started planning out. So yeah. So, a lot to look forward to there. And I believe they have at least one more restock between now and the holidays. So keep an eye on their website for that. And if you go to their website, up across the top, you can see there's a button there that says restock. That will show you what's going to be restocked and roughly when. So anyway, that's my pimping for Dwarven Forge for the moment. So thanks again for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like, subscribe if you haven't already. Give us some comments down in the commentary. Let us know what you thought of the pieces themselves, of our presentation, anything we can improve. If you like the look, don't like the look of the stuff. Yeah, sorry I didn't turn that one on. But yes, all the hero pieces light up. I just didn't turn that one on. But yep. So hit us up with the likes, the shares, all the things, the YouTube things, and thanks again for watching. And we will see you folks later.